Hey everybody, welcome back to Fling.con. We're going to talk board games tonight, but more than that, we're going to talk about board game conventions specifically. We have back with us Dave uh, Rohr, who is the head of our technology. Did I say that right?
Yeah, sounds
Oh,
great.
okay.
Perfect.
And Adam Modello, who is our director
Miss
of,
Mile.
oh,
Close.
Mileto. Did I get it
Almost.
right that time?
You're missing a vowel there. Meladeo. Meladeo.
Meladeo.
Miledeo, there you go. All right. Well, I guess I've been reading it wrong all this time. Reading is fundamental, and apparently I can't do it. So, and he is the head of our logistics team. So, if you've ever come to Fling.con, these two guys sitting here with me today are fundamentally the people that shape the experience that you have. So, when you're hearing music or announcements over the speakers, or getting scanned in, or checking a game out of the library, or buying something out of the bazaar with some of the scanning technologies, this is the guy right here who's putting that together for you. And just the fact that there are tables to sit at, there are vendors there are games to play, we have a venue. Adam is the guy who puts all that. So really, if it wasn't for these two guys, there wouldn't be a convention. So guys, I want to start with just a simple statement of thank you. um I know that there are a ton of people who love coming, who really enjoy what they get to do at FlingCon. And I know that the people listening really yet don't have a general idea of just how hard that is on you guys and how much work is involved in that. But having been on the inside of the circle now, I'm just continually shocked by the sheer volume of things that you guys do. So I'd like to kind of begin to help our audience grasp what goes on behind the curtain. Now, I know, folks, if you think you're going to get any FlingCon specific trade secrets, Joe has already said that's a no-no. I can't give away the secret sauce, but we will give you some of the behind the scenes access so you can see what's going on. But we're going to go ahead and start with Adam. And Adam, if you just give us kind of a general overview of what you cover in logistics,
Sure.
and just how big that piece of this that you're handling really is.
Yeah, I can definitely do some of that. It really is a big team effort. And while I do have that title, there's certainly, I think a lot of assistance that happens between all the team members at BlinkCon. I was actually just thinking about this earlier today. Um, I've been to a lot of conventions. I've been to big conventions and small conventions, and I'm sure at the bigger ones, they have tremendous amounts of staff and tons of volunteers, of course, that's required to make something like that happen. For ours, which is kind of a small to maybe medium size con now, we have a relatively small team that has to get a lot of stuff done in limited times, and especially since we're doing it twice a year now. We're pretty much going all the time with one aspect or another. It comes down to what that looks like for me on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. Um, a lot of what I do is preparation to make sure that when the day of the con comes, we are going to be primed and ready to get everything assembled and ready for all of our attendees to come in and start having fun, right? And so, I think it's one of those things that if it's done well, you don't notice it, right? And if it's not done well, then you notice. And so it's
Yep.
certainly my hope that people don't notice what we do, although it is a lot. And so I on the day of the con, I spend a lot of time interacting with our vendors. The first day of the con, getting them set up where they're going to be, making sure all their needs are met. If you're interested in becoming a FlingCon vendor, please reach out to us on the website, and we can guide you through that process and make sure that experience is great for you as well as for all of our attendees. But everything leading up to the con is again, making sure we have everything ready for bazaar, for the vendors, for the layout inside of our halls, to make sure that we can accommodate all the events, all the gaming space, all the technical stuff that Dave's going to talk about, and the library and all that. And again, it's a big team effort. I'm certainly not doing everything by myself, not by a long shot. But that's it. That's a little bit of it. Happy to talk more about it, but maybe I'll turn it over to Dave to talk about some of his stuff a little bit.
Oh, good segue, Dave. So, nobody walks through the door without interacting with your part of this, with the scanning and the badges. And I have to admit, I love Excel, but there's some fancy fancy Excel work going on over there. So I mean, this is a tall order. It probably takes you a lot of work and a lot of time to pull all this together.
Yeah, it does, and there are certain things Excel wise that I'm actually still learning. That I've had to incorporate into some of these programs that we have. And yes, and don't get me, I love Excel too, but it is so robust. And I know there's other programs that will do more, but for what we have to work with, it does a ton. So it's been great to be able to use that program and make these things. Um, and it's funny because a lot of people get always ask why we have to scan in every day. I said, well, we have to keep stats as well. And without Excel, without using those scans, without doing those things, I said we can't plan for the next con, because it lets us see how much it's growing, and lets us see what's popular. It lets us see, how many people are coming every day, which helps us to build it and to make sure that we can accommodate everybody who does come through and prepare for the future cons where we hope that more and more people will show up.
So that would include things like what
But
games get checked out of the
yeah,
library. So when we're pruning games out of the
yeah,
collection,
definitely,
which games should we take out? Which games are people still interested in? You know, and hey,
definitely.
and when it comes to the stats, we have to convince not just vendors that it's worth their time to come so that there's somebody there for our attendees. But look, guys, if we want to ever get to the point where some of these big game companies start,
Hmm.
picking up on the con, maybe I don't know, Rio Grande Games, or who the company that makes Terraforming Mars, or some of these
Stronghold.
really, really big companies, if we want to start having them send people out so we can see their new stuff before it comes out and get to play test and have some fun with this stuff, that's important. They have to see that they're going to get FaceTime with an adequate number of people to justify their time.
Yeah,
Am I
and we
wrong?
need no, I think you're exactly right. And on top of that, we need to know what games people want to play.
Hmm.
We have limited space in the library. I mean, if we would love to bring thousands of games for everybody to choose from, but we don't have that kind of room. So we need to have those stats. We need to be able to see what games are being checked out, so we know which games people want to play, so that we can make sure we're bringing those games, and the games that maybe aren't getting any kind of traction at all, we can put them off to the side to bring in something else that may be more popular at the time.
Unless some multi-million-dollar donor wants to buy us a Fling.con headquarters building where we can have a library ready to go at all times, and then maybe space won't be as big of an issue.
I think we'd accept that.
I don't know. That might be a
Absolutely.
logistical nightmare for Adam.
I mean, we'd be willing to do it. BGC at Fling.con. If you want to make that donation, let us know.
That's
That.
Joe's going to be watching this later going, what the heck is he talking
right.
about? So Adam, and Dave, is there any cross between the two of you? Do the parts of what you guys do interact or intersect at all, or are you guys pretty much just kind of in your own spheres doing your own things? I mean, yes,
Adam,
I know we all get out of our cars and go unload, so Adam gets his help there. But I mean, outside of that, is there much crossover?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's always going to be some crossover with the tight knit nature of the team. I mean, obviously, everybody has to pitch in for some things. With what we're trying to do, a lot of the stats and things that Dave is getting out of all of our attendees, whether that's through looking at library stats or looking at just attendance, or getting feedback from the surveys that we send out after the cons. All that's going to inform what I spend my time focusing on for the next convention. And so, if we get feedback about, for instance, we had a vendor at our last convention that got a lot of positive feedback because they were providing food to our attendees. That was Act Shack, and that was extremely popular. It was well regarded by all our guests. We had nothing but positive feedback, and so if we can take that and then use it to encourage them to come back, as well as maybe some other vendors in the similar space, to show what kind of benefits they're going to have by coming to our convention, supporting us, helping our attendees, and our attendees, of course, supplying them with business. Then yeah, I think that counts as overlap, at least to some degree, right? So
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
How are we coming on the barbecue brisket vendor for Fling.con?
absolutely.
Hey, you
Texas
know what?
State.
I'm the size I am because brisket speaks my language. So, but yeah, this is the kind of stuff that is important. We have so many things and so many moving pieces. I think the thing that shocked me is, you look at Fling.con as if it's a static thing, and when you're not on the inside, like when you're sitting outside and you're just kind of looking at it, it all appears like it's one static thing, with the exception of maybe when we used to serve food, that was kind of on its own. But the bazaar bleeds into the tables, bleeds into the library. It really looks like it's all just one thing, when in reality, it's all these separate parts interacting and each doing their thing and bringing their expertise to bear. And that was, I think, the most surprising part to me, was realizing just how intricate each and every little part of this is in order to pull something like this off. And I would, I gotta tell you, I still just sit and marvel sometimes at what you guys do, especially as we get close to con time.
Well, it's interesting because we have the con twice a year, and that seems like it's to some people maybe a lot of time, but it's interesting that as soon as the con is over, we literally take maybe a day or two to take a break, and then we're back getting ready for the next con. So there's 6 months of preparation that go into this. I mean, and it's constant. I mean, it's always doing something, meetings, or trying to tweak some of the programs that we have to make it easier for instance, for the snacks, for drinks, for getting games in and out, making sure we're tracking who has the games, so that we have a record of where it is. So if someone wants to use it, we'll know, hey, it's checked out. So and so has it. They'll be back soon. Um, just and it actually gives us also an opportunity to find out the people that are coming, how long they're staying sometimes, because we'll get people who come, doors open, and they're there all day, but then we'll get some people who come in, and it gives us an idea of the flow of traffic, as far as kind of peak times when people show up. Gives us an idea of where we may need to put an extra volunteer or an extra staff member to man the front desk, to make sure that we're not overrun. Toward other times, it's like, well, this is kind of a lull in this time. This is okay. We'll have one staff member here. We should be good, and it works out. But there's a lot that goes into it. Sometimes people think, oh, you just throw it open, you open the doors, and you're ready to go. Unfortunately, it's not that easy.
We all wish, right?
Oh yeah, it'd be nice. But Adam can attest. I mean, he's constantly going through floor plans and rechecking floor plans and moving people around to make sure all the vendors fit. Make sure we have enough room for all the games that are coming in for the bazaar. So it's not as easy. Hey, Adam, here's the bazaar. You're done. He's got to rework it quite often sometimes, because of the amount of traffic that comes in, and the amount of vendors we're getting, and the size of the vendors we're getting.
Well, not only that, but you talked, Adam, about Act Shack and their food, and part of the things that we have to think about, especially now as we have food vendors and we're looking at new food vendors, is we have to be able to tell them, hey, look, here are high traffic times. Friday from 4 to 7, and Saturday from about 10 in the morning until 4 o'clock in the evening. These are our massive times where you want to have your maximum staff here. You want to have your food prepped and ready, because this is when you're gonna, and if we don't have those kinds of statistics, than helping our vendors be prepared to bring the best service to our customers as possible. And con attenders, customers, whatever you want to, whatever term you want to use, that's ultimately what it is. We can't do that. We can't provide them with the best service if we can't accurately predict what's going on. So I think that has a lot to do with that. But when speaking of vendors, when we look at all the different vendors, Adam, what is the hardest thing of dealing with the vendors? Is it the space? Is it the traffic? Is it the booth? Where is it that just, I mean, that just seems like there's so much to handle.
There can be. We have a really good variety of different types of vendors, which is great. I mean, we want to have that variety, but we also have people coming in as vendors that have a lot of different prior experiences with events, whether they're events like Fling.con or other things that may be very different. And so a lot of times vendors will come in with certain expectations about what the event is going to look like, and so trying to accommodate special requests is always something that we want to strive for, whenever possible, just because it's my mission to make sure that our vendors are happy and successful, but at the same time we have to work within the limitations of the venue that we're at. And so we want to eventually try to move to the kind of plan where our vendors are given a dedicated space of specific size. We can have that laid out in advance, taped off or whatever, and say, all right, this is your space, do with it whatever you please. As it stands now, because of the size of our con and the size of the venues that we're in, we do have to sort of limit what they can go to essentially the width of the table that they're given, and make sure they stay within that. And so I think that gives them a chance to maybe see that as an opportunity to be creative with how they show off whatever they're there to promote or to sell. But at the same time, in some cases, it has been a limitation. And so, we want to make sure we're working with them in advance, as far in advance as possible, but certainly on the day of, to accommodate their spaces. And so that means we need to be very flexible. And that's something that I have trouble with sometimes, because I have a vision in mind of how it's going to look. And as soon as that vision starts to break down, I feel that tension kind of welling up inside me a little bit. But Dario is another of our staff members who's been a great partner for me as I'm doing this part of the logistics. He handles a lot of the bazaar stuff and handles a lot of the layout as well. But he and I together have been a great team in making sure that we accommodate our vendors as best as possible. And we haven't been perfect at that, but I think that we've done the best that we can. And we're always happy to take any feedback from vendors on what we can do better. So I think that as the years keep going by, we're just going to get better and better. And I'm really excited about the next event. We've already got a couple of vendors that have told us they're ready to go. Our tickets aren't quite on sale yet. They'll be out on October 19th. Same day as tickets for our regular attendees. If you're interested or you have any questions, please reach out to us at Fling.con if you're interested in being a vendor, and we can not only explain to you how things work, what the process is, but also maybe find out what some of your special requests might be and how we can meet those.
Absolutely. Now, just to clarify, did you say Dario was bizarre?
Dario does handle most of the bazaar. Yeah. Yes, Dario is definitely bizarre. No, he's great. I missed it there. Yes, you got me.
No, I love Dario. He's such a great guy. For those of you who haven't met him yet, come to Fling.con. You can meet him. He's a great guy. You'll love him. But I do have a bone to pick with you about the vendors, though, because at this last convention, my daughters got me to spend way too much money with that vendor who had the Harry Potter wands and the Ichiraku ramen backpacks from that Naruto show and all the other That place. I mean, I was that place was awesome, and it was just like a big money dump. I was like, oh my goodness, where did all this stuff come from? And so it was fun. I mean, I definitely enjoyed it.
Yeah, we love our vendors. We've had a lot of people that have come back multiple times, including Mr. Ortega, who was the vendor you're talking about there, and they seem to love it. So maybe it's an opportunity for you out there if you're looking for a place to show off your wares.
Oh, absolutely. And then you got Zach Clayton with his knives, and you got
That's where I dumped a lot of money, actually.
yeah.
I didn't
I'm
know
not
that.
surprised. I've got my own.
Yeah.
I even got him to sign it for me.
Nice.
So, but Dave, let me ask you, who was your favorite? You've been here, as Joe likes to say, from the beginning. And I know I'm putting you on the spot, but can you identify a favorite vendor that you've had throughout the years at Fling.con?
Oh, see, that's one thing I avoid as the vendors. Don't get me wrong, I love our vendors. I think our vendors are amazing, but my pocketbook and the vendors, they don't go together very well.
I thought for sure I knew what answer you were going to give me.
Did you?
Yeah.
I mean, as far as vendors go, I think they're all great. I will be honest, I don't think I have spent a dime on our vendors yet, just because I'm very undecided when it comes to buying things. And I will sit in front of a vendor for literally an hour trying to decide what I want. So in order to avoid that, because I have things to do sometimes during the con, I just kind of steer clear of our vendors, even though they're great. Don't get me wrong, like I said, our vendors are amazing. They all have some wonderful wares. I just yeah.
Hey, you can always walk over to the Caveman Rumble booth. That's where I think I dropped at least, like I think I spent $60 to $70 just in that one booth. It was like I had more fun over there than I
Yeah.
probably should have.
But I
Yeah.
like interacting with our vendors. I'll go and try and talk to them if I can. Spend some time just letting them know we appreciate them.
Oh, absolutely.
Um, but I've enjoyed every vendor I've talked to. Everyone that we've had there, I've really enjoyed and appreciated their
Well,
willingness
and
to
we would
actually be
be
there.
absolutely remiss if we didn't mention, and I know Joe likes for me to mention him every opportunity we get. If we didn't send a shout out to Toby from the Printed Meeple, and just everything he does, not just for FlingCon, okay, yes, for FlingCon, for our attendees, for all of that. But I mean, the man's he's involved in so many things all over the place, helping out wherever he can. Guys, if you haven't gone over to the Printed Meeple, you really need to get there. It's a place that you really need to get to. You need to go meet this guy. I'm telling you, he is a gem of a human being. And on top of that, if you come on the right Thursday nights, check our website for details. You get to play games with us. I mean, good Lord, how much more? It's like a little mini fling con.
Yeah,
Sometimes every week, sometimes every other week, sometimes once a month, but check the website for more details. But I mean, hey, guys, come on out and have some fun with us, right?
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite places to hang out, meet some con attendees, and make friends. We were just there last Thursday, playing a new game, Andromeda's Edge. So
Was it
It's
fun?
just
it was fun, but is have you seen it, Dave? You know what it is?
I've not I know what it is. I was
Yeah,
wondering if it's any good because it's the next version of Dwellings of Eldervale, the space
yeah,
version. And
very
you know
much,
me in space. We're
very
like
much
super tight.
very much a reskin of Dwellings of Eldervale. It had
Okay.
some tweaks that I think were positive, but overall, if you played Dwellings, it's generally the same game. It doesn't hurt that I won by a lot, so maybe find a positive thing coming from. But no, Brendan Meeple's a great place to hang out. Toby loves hosting people there, and he's done
Yeah.
as you already said, Wes. He does so much for the gaming community. So
And
yeah,
it's such a wholesome environment too. I mean, very family friendly,
Mhm.
very inviting. So yeah, it's a wonderful place.
And you know what? I always tell you guys, I'm the big fat guy. Okay. I don't hide it. I don't make any bones about it. So when it comes to food, trust the fat man. He's got drinks and he's got snacks and all kinds of stuff. So and
Yeah.
there's some good eats right around the area. So if you like some food with your board games, like your boy here, you can you can even indulge in a little bit of that. So definitely, and of course, come see Toby at Fling.con.
Yes.
Can I stress that enough? Adam, do we have, I believe we do, but do we have the dates nailed down in stone for our January con?
We do. I don't remember them off the top of my head. I would check my calendar, but
Go
it's
to the website.
outreach. Go to the website, Fling.con. Yeah, it's right there, I think, on the front page. If it's on the front page, it's should be easy to find. But I know
Here it is.
October 19th.
January 23rd, 24th, and 25th.
There you go. I would not have guessed that correctly, so I'm glad that you were there on the spot.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't even think of doing that, and I really probably should have. But the counter is going, guys. 128 days, 19 hours, 20 minutes, and 19 seconds until the next event. So let me ask you guys a question. Since you guys work the back end of the con, and so many people don't always understand what. Getting to know you guys a little bit, what is the furthest you have ever traveled for a convention?
Dave, I think yours is probably more impressive than mine is.
Maybe. So when I lived in Texas, I would travel to Indianapolis. Now living in Utah, I still travel to Indianapolis, which is quite a distance. But also from Utah to Texas to go to Fling.con is quite a distance. It's if I were to drive, it's about a 22-hour drive.
Wow.
Luckily, I don't have to drive. At least I haven't had to yet. Luckily, I've been able to fly. Indianapolis is a different story. That's 17 hours from Texas. So that's my distance. That's my traveling there.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to travel that far yet for games, although I have aspirations. And I'd like to go up to Philadelphia for PAX Unplugged someday, and maybe even get on one of these cruises that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
the Dice Tower cruises, that would be fun.
Yeah.
Oh,
my
man.
ultimate dream is Essen. It's a little bit further than I've gone before, but it is a goal. I plan to next 3 to 4 years. I plan to be there.
Nice.
Oh,
So-
Now, the cool thing is that we actually have people traveling from pretty far away to Fling.con. We had some folks last year coming from Washington State.
Yep.
Plenty of other surrounding states, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Oklahoma.
I mean, it's easy to talk about the people that drive down from Dallas or Austin or up from Corpus. I mean, there's a good group, and I don't mean to disparage them. That's a trip too.
Oh no, yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know,
It's great.
But as we pick up and we get people from other, we are just really, hey, Mr. Logistics guy, we are just outgrowing this venue so fast.
We are.
We've got to find a place where we can pack more people in the room, because pretty soon we're gonna be prying them in with a crowbar.
Absolutely, and I mean, obviously we're focusing most of our attention on the upcoming January con, but like always, we're thinking about next summer and winter after that, of course. And so, as we look at the trends that we're getting from all these stats that Dave's been working out, we can sort of plan, think about where we're going to be in the future as we anticipate what our attendance will look like, and think about how we'll. So we're in a good spot right now in shirts at the Shirt Civic Center. It's a good for the size that we're at, but we are starting to kind of, the seams are maybe bursting a little bit, So yeah.
So as we come down to the wrap up here, I really want to ask, what if you were to give one piece of advice to I've never been to Fling.con person. This is my first time attending. What would that piece of advice be from the logistics and the technology heads of our staff? What advice do you have for the newbies?
You want to go
Go
first,
ahead,
Dave?
Adam. No, you go right ahead.
All right.
Age before beauty.
Advice. Well, I mean, I could give a lot of advice. I think the first thing I would say is I'll give two. I'll give two small things, and the first one is if you have games that are not getting played that are on your shelves, sign up to sell those things on our bazaar.
Yeah,
and it is a great spot to. I mean, I would lie to you and tell you make money, but let's face it, they're just going to turn around and spend that money on the other games, right? So, but it is a great way to maybe make some space on your shelves for the new stuff that you're going to get at Fling.con. The other thing is, if you're coming alone, especially look at all of the scheduled games that we have in advance of the con. If there's something that you want to play that maybe you don't get to the table that much, see if you can set that up on a scheduled game, and then so you have some things that you can count on when you get to Fling.con. I mean, it's a very friendly crowd, but having some things that you know you're going to be able to jump in on at a specific time, I think that's always a good thing for coming to Fling.con or any con really by yourself, especially.
Yeah. That's where I was going to go. I was going with the scheduled games, but he said it perfectly. I mean, there's no, that's fine. That's fine. That's perfect. Because there's always, I mean, people who, like I said, a lot of people. I met a lot of people who come solo, and they come simply because they hear about the con. They like board games, so they show up. Scheduled games is a perfect way for them to get involved and meet new people. Don't be scared to come talk to staff sometimes and ask us questions. Hit us up with, helping you find someone or introduce you to other people who may be looking for games.
You mean we're not horrible evil ogres looking to eat people all the time?
Well, not that we're going to tell them on this cast. I mean, when they get there, they'll find out the truth. But Kelvin, for instance, he's been really good about the scheduled games. He's a great person to talk to in that instance. I mean, he's not on the stream today, but he's one of the staff members for Fling.con. But yeah, and don't be scared just to go ask, just talk to people. I mean, I found it interesting that it's a very welcoming community. I've yet to find anyone who has been, pushed you away or has denied someone the opportunity to hang out with them or play a game with them, or
no, it's usually quite the opposite.
Exactly.
You can't walk through the room without every table inviting you to sit down and play.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. So don't be scared to meet new people. They're going to be nice. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we always have those players wanted, teachers wanted signs that are helpful as well.
So for those of you who are watching this, who have questions and things like that, obviously we'd like you to click the thumbs up. It's down below the video. We want you to share it, of course, because we want to get the word out about Fling.con. But you can also subscribe so that you're notified every time these videos come up. But here's the other thing I'm going to invite you to do. You see, there's this little thing called the comments. And if you have questions that we didn't answer, if you have things that you want to hear about, you want Dave to address, or you want Adam to address, drop it in the comments. Let us know what's going on so we can answer those for you. Maybe you've got an issue with a board game night you're trying to set up for you and your friends, or for your community or whatever. And you're like, hey Adam, what do I need to do, or who should I contact? Or maybe you're wanting to do some kind of crazy custom Excel thing, and Dave can tell you you're crazy for trying to do that instead of buying a big software package. But this is a community here, obviously, that we're trying to build, the Fling.con community, and so we'd love it if you'd interact with us. We'd love it if you'd talk back to us. Let us know, do you like this content? Is there something else you want to see? Do you have other questions that we might be able to answer for you? That's how this grows, and that's how this becomes what we all want it to be. So with that, guys, thank you both for your time. I know our fans out there really appreciate not just your time here tonight, but everything you guys do for us. And as always, we will see you guys next week.
Bye.